Hey, hi, hello. We have a new chapter of One Punch Man Remake. It's been quite a while, I feel like, since the last chapter, so this is quite exciting. They took this series off of Manga Dex. I guess Viz has been pretty um, aggressive with takedowns, going even after Manga Dex, which for a while seemed to have some sort of bizarre good standing with them. I don't know. I don't know how they got away with it for as long as they did, but that era is over now. So I found this on the One Punch Man subreddit, which originally was like an Imager gallery, but then I couldn't really find a good way to show which page I was on in the Imager gallery. But there was a comment pointing out that if you use this site, guya.moe, if you swap any Imager album link, the Imager.com part, with this guya.moe, it makes it into a really nice reader format. So we're going to read it like this, and hopefully it'll keep the page we're on updated and all of that stuff. Very, very cute cover page. The gang. Just consider how insane this gang is. We have the two psychic sisters, a demonic cyborg hell bent on revenge, his master and sensei Sayatama, and then the strongest man in the world, King. um, and yet the variety of personalities on display in just this picture really makes you feel like this is a normal shonen gang, a lovable cast of characters, and yet it subverts itself on every level. Okay, shoutouts as always to Vibhav, friend of the channel. Your work on this series is super valuable. Uh, Bitching at me to put him here, Sleepy Stogus. Shoutouts to you too, Sleepy Stogus. Congrats, buddy. You made it. Okay, so we return to the Tatsumaki fight against Psycho slash Orochi. Um, she's kind of baiting attacks while Genos is firing off all of his strongest missiles at the actual base of the tower, trying to form a disconnect, trying to cut Psychos off from the source of her energy. Tatsumaki looking shocked and battle damaged. Maybe not ready for a beam of this magnitude. And then Genos jumps in the way. Okay, so this is Genos with absolute confidence thinking back that his attacks seem to deflect Psychos' attacks, that maybe some deep lore, some mechanics of how energy beams work in this series. He's got like the antimatter beam. Like it just it somehow works out that even though he's many power levels lower, many tiers lower on the OPM tier list, Genos can actually be the trump card here. The true Spiral Incinerator Cannon, a very badass shot, doing kind of a Dragon Ball-esque attack. Kamehameha! Of course, shooting out of the core as well as his hands. I guess the core is making this central blast here, and then the hands making these spiraling shots around it. I like that. I like that. Just little subtleties in how these energy beams are designed. They make them feel unique. They make them feel reflective of how the attack is produced, the person producing the attack. All these little things, you know, it just adds variety to the series. It just enriches it. So that it's not just like beam, 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 beam. You know, that gets stale. Okay. Okay. So the beams collide. If you could ever win in a frontal clash, will it work out? This countering property, this antimatter resonance, whatever you want to call it. The beams are smushing against each other. Ooh, but it looks like Genos' beam is like cutting through Psychos' beam. Okay. I push through this. Hurry up, Tatsumaki. Okay. So it's working. It's drilling through the Psychos beam and diverting everything outwards. Tatsumaki raises her fist. What's she gonna try to do? Pulling everyone out of the Monster Association headquarters. A brief little comedic scene where Atomic Samurai wakes up next to Pre Prisoner and questions all of his life choices up until now. Dark Alloy Shine smashing down. The trilogy of Psychic Sister and Two Old Kung Fu Men. Trilogy? Trio? Whatever. Out as well. And Tatsumaki, I was about to say, this panel has a lot of love in it. Or this page. This page has a lot of, a sense of reassurance and compassion. Just these little scenes of everyone popping out. Snug and secure in their little psychic bubbles. And then confirming this emotional energy. Look at the happiness on Tatsumaki's face. Have we ever seen her smile like that? Have we ever seen her face look so bright? Hooray, hooray! Tatsumaki saves the day. And again, you gotta remember that even these S-Class heroes that have the worst attitudes, that are the most stubborn, the most smug, the most self-important and insistent, they still want to be heroes. They still went into this profession for a reason. And as abrasive and cruel as Tatsumaki can be, the genuine happiness she has here, saving people, is very inspirational. Even though she's like really renowned for her battle skills and stuff, and we often see her coming in to just annihilate extremely strong monsters, you gotta think that her powers are also incredibly well suited for rescue, for like preventing damage, for saving lives in general. Like she is quite the hero by any definition of the word, besides just strong. Okay, Genos at his limit. His beam fails. It slowed down the Psycho's beam for quite a while, but now he is leaking. Oh man, this is a kind of terrifying shot, especially seeing it come out of his eyes and mouth. You know, like we've never seen beam come out of his eyes and mouth before. Just out of his hands and the core in his chest, his shoulders, his feet, his arm sockets for rocket punches and stuff, ventilation shafts along the sides. You know, lots of intended places for things to be exhausted and released in his body. Both weapons and kind of stabilizers. But here, coming out of his face, coming out of his eyes and mouth, this is kind of scary. This is not something we've seen Genos kind of like suffer with before, I think. It has this kind of, I don't know, like almost like a medical sense of dread to it, that the body is malfunctioning. And Tatsumaki's face has certainly changed. Concern. When you bluff them, your shield is gone now. This will finish it. Okay. We'll save them now. Tatsumaki, renewed of energy, is able to wield her psychic powers. Another interloper. Genos with one final blast. Oh. What a shot. I think, what exactly is going on here? It seems like through psychic energy, Tatsumaki is kind of stabilizing Genos' body. This is just quite an amazing shot, though. Just like the positioning of their bodies. It's almost erotic. Almost. I didn't say that. It has like this kind of serenity to it. It feels like the cover of like a romance novel or something, right? Just in the positioning, just in the raw positioning. In terms of context, and the fact that one of them is this demonic-looking cyborg, and the other one is this girl with ripped-up clothes floating in the sky. Putting that aside, just in the energy it conveys, there's something like love here. Finally concentrate on us now. Because she's managed to extract all of the heroes from the base. She was doing a lot at once. Well done, Demon Cyborg. Wow. Did you ever think you would hear Tatsumaki say something like that? So it's true, Tatsumaki was so distracted, so multitasking, that we really haven't seen her unleash her full powers in like a one-on-one frontal confrontation with Psychos yet. It was always like a twofold operation of try to stop Psychos and make sure nobody's getting hurt in her bizarre, twisted base. So look at this. Whoosh. Whoosh. Damn, that's satisfying. That's really satisfying. Just the range of expressions Tatsumaki has had in this chapter is phenomenal. Ooh, I can't even move a finger. Going to do what to my little sister? Amazing. The complexes that Tatsumaki has around Fubuki are indeed complex, but in the end, you can only call this word love, I suppose. But this is what pissed her off more than anything. More than anyone else at risk, more than the existential threat to the world, more than the billions of dollars of property damage and possible loss of life. Who knows what's going on in those cities below that Psychos is causing. Tatsumaki thinks only of her little sister. Oh boy. That thing is absolutely massive. Is there not any limits to this psychic power? This line has something very haunting in it, I think. That Silver Fang is looking up after an entire lifetime of studying how to make himself stronger, of martial arts practice, refinement, growth, of pushing himself to the limit again and again and again. He's just looking up at this psychic power and thinking like, okay, like what is the what is the downside? Like, what is the trade-off? It's just this vast sense of like unfairness that I think he's trying to enunciate here. Is there not any limit? Are you kidding me? Is there nothing? Because he thought he was seeing Tatsumaki finally lose to a gigantic skyscraper monster and thought maybe finally, oh, okay, it's not just like a cheat code. There is a limit. Haha, just kidding. There's not a limit. I wonder if he's even thinking, you know, could Saitama do this? Could Saitama do this? I don't know. Ooh, once Tatsumaki starts doing hand gestures of what she wants her psychic powers to do, she's got her pinkies out like this. I don't know why. That's when things start getting really scary. This kind of like doll model, you know? It has this really kind of, you know all those like horror movies where it's like a creepy kid that has psychic powers or whatever? That's how they're always manipulating things. They have like a doll. I'm just playing with the doll, la la la. You know, creepy shit like that. And then, my arms! I don't know. This sounds like it could be a movie, right? It's that feeling of like miniaturization that it just becomes a plaything to them. It has a really eerie effect, and I think very well utilized here, especially with Tatsumaki's eyes like, totally whited out. These sound effects, go, 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 go. Oh. This I also love. We went from like a horror movie cliche to like a disaster movie cliche, where something really crazy is happening, but we cut away from it before we can fully understand what it is, to like the emergency response center, and everyone's like, what does this mean? I've never seen anything like it in my life, blah, blah, blah. I love that too. I love that too. I dropped my fidgety toy that I need for a chapter this exciting. Z City's site map looks distorted. Is it a problem of communication? No. It's the city itself is being twisted up. Look at these cuts. Look at this paneling. Phenomenal. Oh, and the irises and pupil to her eye finally returning with that smug little smile. You can just tell how much Murata loves drawing Tatsumaki. How much Murata is like, Tatsumaki gets a rough deal during the Monster Association arc. Can't she do a little more? And they're like, yeah, let's go. One is down for this as well. Oh, man. The other one, of course, is that Murata loves drawing this kind of disaster porn. Drawing things getting wrecked on an unfathomable scale. They gave him a lot of opportunities for that, too. Oh my gosh. The tornado of terror. Psychos is snapped off from the rest of the base, which was her kind of where all the energy was being stored. She screams out my roots. This half Psychos, half Orochi face in the top left panel is terrifying. Oh man. This is turning into like Uzumaki, like the Junji Ito series. Everyone is becoming spirals. Oh my gosh. Jesus. These regs are pretty wet, so I need to wring them out really good. This is the exact thing I'm talking about, right? The shrinking, the miniaturization of the entire situation that is then being trivially manipulated by the powerful character as if it really was that small, as if it was easy. That sort of horror cliche, that sort of like supernatural horror cliche, I think. Very, very well played here. And just the horror of the S class, you know? I think they do a really good job with a lot of these characters, Tatsumaki first and foremost, making them heroic, you know, that lovable smile that she gave when she had finally rescued everyone, the way she finally acknowledged someone else thanking Genos. But then the fact that on just the sheer level of their power, you can't help but be unnerved. Just going back to this conception of S-Class as like nobody even aspires to be an S-Class, because S-Class are freaks. That you know you would lose something of your humanity. You would lose your ability to kind of exist in the normal world if you ever achieve that level of power. Yes, Tatsumaki is kind of a freak. Oh god, so yeah, basically like Orochi is saturated within the underground of this entire area, right? That like Orochi goop that was absorbing all the other monsters and creating this gigantic power network. Tatsumaki is now just exploding that hither and thither. What? Is that an expression? Whatever. Hither and yon, I think is what you say. So everywhere there's these geysers of blood just popping out. Jesus. And again, just these quick cuts to what everybody else is doing and the super comedic moments, I think, is amazing. Huh. Okay. Yae in trouble. So everyone's fights are kind of cancelled. But none of the other Dragon tier monsters have been fully taken down. Well, Nyan was taken down. But the ones from the original webcomic, right? Ugly Fuhrer, still around. Lips, is that what that thing's called? Still around. The Natural Evil Water, still around. Black Sperm, oh, you better believe he's still around. Like, this arc is still kind of just getting started. It's so weird, because this feels like such a major climax. And only if you had read the webcomic would you think, like, oh, a whole bunch of stuff is still gonna happen. Let alone friggin' Garo? Did you remember that Garo is here? Who else? Homeless Emperor? That wasn't resolved yet, right? Oh, I love this arc. Valairs. Okay. Zombie Man is not responding. Someone's transponder is in this like little scrap of shirt. Zombie Man. He assumes the worst, but come on, it's Zombie Man. You really think Zombie Man is dead? Pig God pops out of the rubble, shielding Child Emperor. Nobody rescued Saitama! Oh no, and Lightspeed Flash as well. Is stuck down there too. How come they didn't get bubbled out? Like, Saitama didn't have a transponder. Nobody knew he was there. That makes sense that he can get bubbled out, but you know, he's fine. Lightspeed Flash, though! Is it just because he pissed off Tatsumaki that one time? Like, way back many volumes ago when they were fighting that, like, big eye octopus monster, and Lightspeed Flash was, like, doing a pretty good job, and Tatsumaki showed up and just, like, you know, squished it, and then Lightspeed Flash was kind of, like, pissed off. They started fighting. And then now Tatsumaki chooses not to bubble him? I don't know. I take back everything I said about Tatsumaki being a hero. I don't know. Okay, meanwhile, King and the kid out on the surface, just trying to get somewhere safe. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, now we're going downstairs. Oh, man. Just the, like, bizarre lightness and comedicness and this, like, physical comedy of buildings toppling over and... Oh, man. The tone of this chapter is just amazingly diverse. Okay. The Psychos Orochi monster is looking pretty much done. An amazing shot of it turning into just like a blood fountain. For some reason, this reminds me a lot of Hieronymus Bosch, The Garden of Earthy Delights. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see if we can find... Yeah, I'm kind of crazy. It doesn't look that much like it. Like this kind of... Where... There's like a specific one I'm thinking of. There's all these like weird like flesh fountains that look like they're kind of crustacean. One of the craziest paintings you'll ever see. This one on the left. So we want the paradise part. Isn't that... Yeah. For some reason it reminds me of this thing. Why? I don't know. I have a deranged mind, I guess. Anyways, as soon as I saw that, that thing like flashed into my head. What's wrong with me? Anyways, an amazing shot. Just the way that like it feels both. It has like the stillness and kind of completeness of a landscape, and yet these fountains of blood. The static twistiness is so dynamic, represents just a flash in time. And then when you actually think about, you know, what it seems to be depicting on just the surface level, this horrific, twisted, drill-like spiral looking both natural and super unnatural, these gigantic rifts of cityscape, you know, plateauing onto each other. And then in the distance, the moon with these concentric circles, which of course is where Saitama jumped off of it. Because then you think about what this means, what this represents, and it's like this moment of triumph. It's this moment of absurd triumph. I don't know, man. This page works on a lot of levels. Sure masked a lot of stuff. What a disgusting fountain. I'll just have to tightly shut down the pump. She squeezes even harder. Ah, Tatsumaki. Okay. Good. I'm so excited to see more. I just can't get over this idea that, like, you know, we're just getting started. There's still so many monsters to fight. There's still so many scenes that we've yet to see. There's still Garo. There's still, like, the actual, you know, finale of this arc. Everything to do with that is still in its beginning stages. Amazing. Okay. So let's look forward to the next chapter. Bye-bye for now.